Once upon a time, there have been insects on this planet big enough to easily eat my dog for breakfast and maybe even myself. This was over 300 million years ago. But how was it possible that gigantic insects could rule the Earth during that time? The majority of insects are very small today. In this talk, I'll answer this question. Before we might take a look at some of these monsters. One is Meganeura, the overall largest dragonfly ever lived on this planet, with a wingspan of 70 centimeters. Meganeura was the queen of the skies 300 million years ago. But even more frightening was Arthropleura. This beast was probably the largest terrestrial arthropod ever walked on this planet. It had a body size of up to 2.5 meters. Just imagine a gigantic centipede as long as a car getting closer to you. How was it possible for insects getting this huge? Why are they so small today? Here we have to take a look at the overall atmospheric oxygen levels. Today, the air we breathe contains 21% oxygen. That has not always been like this. 300 million years ago, in the era of gigantic insects, we had elevated oxygen levels up to 35%. Oxygen increased due to the rise of green plants making photosynthesis. And elevated oxygen levels in the atmosphere are key to understand how huge gigantic insects could live. We have to take a look at the respiratory system of insects. Unlike us, insects have no lungs and they can't breathe in air actively. Instead, they developed a trachea system where tiny holes in their body segments connected over tubes could directly reach the inner organs of the insect. So the gas exchange and with that the uptake of required oxygen works through diffusion. This is a passive process and has one major problem. If the trachea, these tubes responsible for gas exchange, were too long, it would take a long time for oxygen molecules to travel through diffusion to the organs. This limit in the length of trachea limits the entire body size of today's insects as well. But we keep in mind that in the times of gigantic insects, 300 millions of years ago, there were elevated oxygen levels, meaning there are more oxygen molecules in the air. Insects could have a bigger size because trachea could be longer as well. Diffusion was still a rather slow process, but since oxygen molecules itself were more abundant, it was enough to supply organs with oxygen. I hope you got the point. If not, just leave your question in the comments. I'm out for today. Thank you for watching and see you soon.